Good evening, everybody. This is Nikki Cotton, and Chris and I host the Heat Team weekly team call along with our other national marketing directors that are part of the Heat team. And I am excited for tonight's call because the way this really came about, and Andrea, I don't even know if you realize this. So first of all, for those of you that don't know me, Chris and I are national marketing directors. We've been with Juice Plus Company for 29 years. I go, eek, how is that even possible? It just kind of blows my mind. And it's been an absolutely amazing journey with lots of choices offered to us, lots of lifestyle changes that we were able to take advantage of because of this wellness entrepreneurship, as I like to call it. And not only did it help to make a healthier, happy family, but the health is always incredible to be able to be vital and energetic and with our whole family, but also allow us to do the kinds of things that we like to do in our family, which is travel, get together a lot. And it's this Juice Plus journey that's allowed that to happen. But tonight is definitely not about me. It's really about Andrea. And I can't wait for you to meet her because when we were in Dallas, they had her come up on stage and tell her story. And I don't know if I remember like when you made your NMD speech years before or anything, but you really caught my attention. And I said, she's going to be on our Heat team call as soon as possible. And tonight's the night. So let me just tell you just a little bit about Andrea. She was born in Omaha, Nebraska. She became a transplant Texan in 2006 when her family moved to San Antonio. No wonder you loved having the super event in San Antonio. It's where you're from.
Exactly.
Oh, perfect. Graduated with honors with a BS in marketing and advertising from the University of Nebraska and has enjoyed the freedom of working from home most of her professional career. She's got a mother of 3. Yikes, we'll have to hear about that. An exercise enthusiast. I just was going to say, and you're a runner, right? And then it came up. I know you're a runner because of your email name. Yeah, it was her move to Texas that introduced her to Juice Plus, and she became a customer and a rep the same time in December of 2006. So you're one of the smart ones, Andrea. You saw it all at the same time. Not all of us did that. So she fast-tracked to senior sales coordinator in 2010 and achieved the company's top position of NMD 1 year later. So let's get out our pens and paper and get ready to take some notes. She's been nominated for 3 Elton Awards, 12 Club Rookie of the Year, 24 Club Member of the Year, 39 Club Member of the Year. She's the winner of the 39 Club Member of the Year Elton Award for 2018. Wow. Man, it's like so amazing. Organized the first ever Juice Plus Summit in San Antonio in July of 2014. I'm really glad I'm reading all this because this is really impressive and people need to know the kind of stuff that you've done. She conducts business trainings and speaks at regionals and boot camps around the country and is on our Heat team and finds the greatest rewards in her Juice Plus business that comes from helping her team achieve goals and creating other leaders within her organization, and has built her business by focusing on simplicity and duplication. Woo! She's a mouthful, and I bet she's a handful. I just bet. So, Andrea, I'm just going to turn this over to you, and I am excited to hear about what you have to share from your heart, tips and tools, and some of your wisdom.
Okay, well, thank you, Nikki, and it is an honor to be asked to share. I honestly don't know that I've ever shared on another team call. I have to think about it. I guess they keep punching call all the time. I'm part of the Daigle team, but it is an honor, so thank you. And yeah, you did not need to read half of that. I don't care about most of that.
I did.
But I am kind of proud that we started the summits because I love seeing what they're doing across the summer or across the country right now. So you shared obviously some of my story there. And what I thought I would do with you all tonight is just go a little bit deeper into some of the details that many people don't know, but more importantly, pointing out some of the trials and triumphs that I've had along the way, and most importantly, the lessons that I've learned. So you heard Nikki say I am a mom of 3. I'm a marathon runner. I was actually introduced to Juice Plus just after moving to San Antonio. And I'm very candid. I wanted nothing to do with it. I was a complete skeptic. I think being in the gym environment for so many years, I've seen so many things. I wouldn't listen to a word. Thank God the lady who shared it with me did not give up, because I did not make it easy on her. But when I did finally take a look at the product, it obviously made sense, as we all know, being on a business training call. And I have to tell you though, my first challenge I encountered with it that I hope you can learn something from is the purchasing it, the cost of it. And it was because we had moved from Omaha to San Antonio with no jobs. Not many people know that. So we literally just picked up a move across the country with 3 kids in elementary and middle school. One of the craziest things I think we ever did that turned into absolutely the biggest blessing. And so I share that because I don't take cost as an excuse from anybody. I say if there's where there's a will, there's a way. And if you want Juice Plus, or anybody you're ever talking to indicates they want Juice Plus, there are ways they can get it done. So of course, I signed up as a representative that same night. That made sense. That was a no-brainer. I always say, I mean, I got my money back on my own order. But I also worked it into our grocery budget. So that's a nice little thing I like to share with people who say they have financial challenges. We look at how much will Juice Plus cost every week, and I redirected spending in our grocery budget. So got our whole family started. Don't want to take too much time tonight telling you about our product story. Just absolutely love it. I have 3 kids, have not seen a doctor in 12 years except for a well check. I have a family history of Parkinson's, so it definitely appealed to me as a preventative measure in that regard. And then, of course, my running and staying active. I want to be able to do those things as long as possible. But as far as the business goes, I really just signed up to cover the cost of my product. That was it. I thought, we have no income, so if I can cover the cost, my mom needs it. We start thinking about all those people in our life right away that we love, that we know need this. But I really didn't intend to share it beyond that. And what happened was I started to notice, even within my own family, those changes. And I almost felt like those opportunities to share were just being presented to me. I would be in a Bible study and somebody would bring something up. I would be in a grocery store and the clerk would be complaining about a cold or something like that. So I tentatively started sharing. And I will say though, because I am somebody that thinks if there's a way to do less work and achieve more, I'm going to do it. So I did, I guess, work intentionally enough to work myself up to the top commission level because I did want to maximize my earnings. So I got there and really treating this very much as a hobby because I also really struggled with understanding the business model. I had come from a family that, in fact, my parents worked for the Kellogg's company for 30 plus years. And so I had grown up in a home where I saw them working hourly, earning time and a half on Saturday, double time on Sunday. And so that, time for dollars thing is all I knew. I just knew that, the more hours you put into something, the more money you would make. I did not understand residual income. So that definitely was a learning experience, but I luckily had great mentors. I dug into books and really started to begin to understand the business model a little bit more. I will say, we talk about our 4 beliefs in the business, the product, the company, the industry, and then ourselves. And believing in myself was my biggest struggle for a very, very long time. Not a lot of people want to believe this, but it is true. I am incredibly introverted. And almost to the point of having panic attacks initially when I started speaking in front of people. In fact, a really kind of funny story is my very first networking event I ever went to when I was like, okay, I'm going to do a little bit more with this. I'm getting a little bit more comfortable sharing with people. I still could not stand up and say my name. I went to the bathroom and got sick before I did that. And all I had to do was say, hi, I'm Andrea. I'm number 47 on your list. That was it. And I was that scared. So I was finding my way through the business and, trying, not really having any true vision or goals. And I attended a boot camp where Catherine Lee spoke. So if you know Catherine Lee, so inspiring. And I really look back now and I realize the power of that event and so many of the events I've attended over the years, because for many years I was attending events oftentimes by myself with no team with me, because again, I didn't really have that mindset of growing team. And now coming from this side of it, 13 years later, We just had a huge team gathering, the San Antonio Summit, and we had about 25 of our team members over to the house after, and we were having some great conversation that night. And I really commended them for being at that event when we have Austin just a few months later, because I think when you can think small or you can think big in this business. And thinking small, in my opinion, is, oh, well, yeah, San Antonio or Austin, I'll just wait for Austin. But what I really try and teach my team is to think big and get yourself to every event that you can, so that that next one is even bigger for you. It's because more people will be with you if you get them, if you're bringing new people in on a regular basis. So I think events are critical. I love them. I do all kinds of events. In fact, that's just what I trained on in San Antonio this past weekend. But I mentioned Catherine Lee. So she's training up there and really helped me to believe that, she literally said, if I can do this, anybody can do this. And one of the things she mentioned in her training was that she was mentored by Carrie Daigle. Now, as I said at the beginning, I am in the Daigle line, but I had never really had a conversation with Carrie and Mickey. They are way, 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 way up there in my business. And so I just thought, well, wait a minute, if he helped Catherine and they aren't on the same team, surely he will help me. So I just reached out to Carrie. I got his number from somebody. I sent him a text and I said, will you help me? I think I want to do this. I really want to do this. And I'll tell you what, that was a scary thing to do, because if you know Carrie Daigle, he is mighty. And he said, quite honestly, he said, I will help you, but you have to do as I direct you. And if you're not going to do it, I'm out. Like, don't reach out to me again. And so I was incredibly intimidated, very unsure of myself. But what I realized in doing that was accountability was what was missing in my business. I really, again, coming from sort of that corporate world, from a different mindset in terms of how to make an income, I did not know how to be a business owner. So I created that accountability. And it made all the difference, because, honestly, I was a little scared what he would say to me if I didn't follow his instructions. And the funny thing is that he knew exactly what my weaknesses were. Somehow he had a couple conversations. And so as scared as I was to speak, the very first thing he forced me to do, I say that lovingly, was schedule my own event, find a venue, book it for like 50 people and be the featured speaker. And I was horrified. But because I respected who he was, and I did it. I just said, okay, well, if I want to be successful, I have to learn from successful people. So he sort of helped me get going in my business, still a sales coordinator, attended that conference where I first heard about the Senior Sales Coordinator Fast Track. And that got me excited. And for the first time ever in my business, I really was thinking about a specific goal. And I didn't realize back then how goal-oriented I actually am. So another thing I would say that I learned in that process is I love to set goals from conference to conference. But not only that, I break those goals down, because I've seen it too many times where people set goals and they say they're sitting in one spring conference maybe, and by the fall they want to be somewhere, but they really don't put a plan in place. So I now try and work with my team. I have a lot of people working for that senior sales coordinator position right now, and we break that goal down. So if we need, for instance, a 6,000 point increase, we make that 1,000 points per month. Then we take it down to 250 points a week. And we look at what events are going on, what conversations are happening to make that happen, so we can stay on top of the progress. So if mid-month of the first month, we don't have an extra 500 points, we can shift our activity. So I really think it's important to take big goals and break them down into manageable pieces so you can stay on top of it. Because the worst thing you can do is get, to a month before a conference and go, oh, wait, what happened? I'm nowhere near. So got to senior sales coordinator, had incredible momentum going on, made national marketing director a year later. I was 18 club and things were going great. And then a year later, it was dramatically different. So I don't know if many of you have been in the business a long time. I shared this a little bit more in Tampa on stage, but I had a huge life happen moment. I had my strongest line, literally had a horrific experience. a personal story. I don't feel that it's my place to share. But that line was 2/3 of my business. And so it started going down and decreasing and decreasing. In fact, I went from 18 club to 11 club a year later and was not at the next Elton's as an NMD because I had not been a 12 club to get that invitation. So that was a really hard lesson and definitely a moment where I wasn't sure what I was going to do. But looking back, I see so much importance in going wide and building strong. So I'm all about strong and stable. I say I've never been the fastest business builder, but I'm okay with that because I want to build it strong. And I remember actually having a conversation with Elton DeBose not that long ago. And he said to me, the number one thing, if reps could get this, that they need to build this business is patience. And so that just, I'm sitting in that place where I'm really struggling in terms of going downward, and then life is happening to me personally as well, because without going into a long drawn out personal story, my marriage had been in trouble for a couple of years. We had been in counseling. And so as my business is decreasing, I'm facing a divorce. And so for the first time in my life, I'm going out on my own, never paid my own bills, been on my own, went from living with mom and dad to being married, and I was petrified. I honestly was. And I didn't know what I was going to do. So much so that I thought, okay, well, I am a national marketing director. I can rebuild this, but I need to go get another job to offset that lost income or to give me the time to build. And I reached out to Mickey Daigle to talk about this with her. And I will tell you what, this is the power of a support team. She literally, talk about small but forceful. She said, absolutely not are you going to do that. She reminded me of the value of my time and what every hour that I put into my business could create. And so she committed to walking side by side with me. We set up weekly mastermind calls. And in fact, literally still today, we were every Tuesday morning at 9 a.m. I talk to Mickey Daigle and we talk about where we're going as a team, any help I need with anything, just sharing ideas and strategizing. I'm so, so grateful. And what I really learned in that is a couple things. First and foremost, to be successful, again, you need to surround yourself with successful people. And we're so fortunate in this business because we have so many people that are willing to pour into us. The other thing I realized was that when sometimes, and I see this so much in my team, people struggle, as I did in the beginning, to believe in myself. And certainly when I had faced that challenge, I was questioning my leadership abilities. But I knew that Carrie and Mickey believed in me, and I had to let them believe in me and lift me up. And so what I really gained from that experience was to be an encourager, to always be there for your team, to hear them out. I joke with Mickey sometimes. Sometimes I feel like a psychologist on this team, but some people just need to talk if they're facing challenges. But another thing that I think is harder for women in particular in this business is I've learned through Carrie and working alongside him to father your team. So I think women, we are just naturally nurturing. And when somebody faces a struggle, we want to say, oh, it's okay. Or they checked out and they come, oh, it's all right. We're so happy you're back. But I've really tried to adopt that idea of fathering your team that Michelle Ball shared in a training brilliantly so many years ago. And in fact, I had it happen just this weekend where a team member came to our summit who had been completely MIA for a couple years, and she's asking for help. And I said, I'm here for you 100%, but I need to know that you're committed because I'm being pulled in a lot of different directions. And again, it's the same thing, Carrie. It's kind of funny how it comes full circle, but I realized, I needed to put a little bit of tough love out there. And it's just been a beautiful thing to have a real conversation. And that's one of the things I really hope more than anything is I am very authentic in everything I do in my business. So So since I really adopted that attitude, that attitude of not quitting, it wasn't an option. I've got people in my corner that are literally going to help me. Things have been, I'm just continued to grow. I don't want to go into it. You went through my bio, plenty said there, but I just feel like we have the best job, if you will ever, I don't even call it a job. It's the best thing in the world. I feel so confident and proud of who I've partnered with, so honored to walk this journey with so many incredible people, that I think everybody deserves to know about this. So just in wrapping things up, I just want to finish with a few tips, just general tips for success, things that I really feel are critical in my business. The first one would be trust the process. I hear people say oftentimes, oh, I'm stuck. In fact, I ban the word stuck on my team. Nobody's stuck. That's a mindset, right? If you're having conversations, you're moving forward, you're learning. I tell my team, okay, if we're not progressing at the rate that you want right now, let's pause and see what you need to learn to be a better leader, to help you move forward. So you need to remember you can only control the activity, you cannot control the outcome. The other thing I would say is consistency is critical. I had a great Team Z day. Even as a national marketing director, I am on Team Z. I am following that DMO to make sure that I am always building business, because I remember Michael Heck shared this with me not that long ago, that any issue, and I embed this in my team, anything and everything can be fixed with new team members. If you really think about the challenges you face, if you feel like you're stuck, if you feel like you're in a decline, if you're not motivated, bring on a new team member who's excited, and it will change everything. So I really believe consistency is critical. And, sometimes when people will ask us, well, how soon can I get there? We can't answer that question. It's based on how much activity you're doing and how often you're doing it. But it's so much easier to keep a consistent routine than to kind of start and stop and come in and out. And I personally believe people are watching you. People are watching to see, is she serious? Is this something she's just going to do for a while? Or, is this something that, it's that branding on social media and stuff that they know that this is everything you're about. Another thing, I've kind of dubbed myself pleasantly persistent. I think persistence is critical as much as consistency. I never give up on somebody, ever, because Rebecca Ingersoll, who's my sponsor, did not give up on me. And that's my thought. And if I'm feeling, remember I said I like to be authentic. If I'm feeling like I'm bothering somebody, I will say to them, listen, I feel like I'm bothering you, but to be honest with you, it took me so long before I really was open to learning about Juice Plus. And I'm so grateful to the person who never gave up on me. So I don't want to give up on you either. But then I give them permission. If it's not the right time, just let me know. I'd rather get that clarity. But being persistent has always paid off. If you had time to hear from my team, every one of them would say, oh, she was so persistent. The other thing I would say is keeping things really, really simple. We know our business grows by duplication. So like we use a little roadmap as a simple one page. You fill this out and you help other people do it, and there's your business plan. I think the simpler you can create or keep things, the faster you're going to move. I already touched on being authentic. The other thing I would say is watch out for comparison. In fact, you mentioned this, the San Antonio Summit, Danette Blair and Lori Kendall are local NMDs here with me, and they did a phenomenal training together, and we're very transparent about that comparison component, and it can cripple a business. And so again, going back to understanding that it's your journey and there might be lessons to learn along the way. I think we just need to celebrate each other's successes and let go of that. It's not a race, right? Being a marathon runner, it's not a race. It's just everybody can get to the finish line if they just keep moving forward. And then probably the last thing I would just say, so simple, have fun. What are we here for? I think we inspire people on a regular basis. I'll give you a simple example. Today, I saw a fabulous Tower Garden event online that I'm a part of. I sent out probably 15 invitations to it, but I always put my voice to it because I want to exude fun and enthusiasm with people. And when you do that, you will be a magnet to people, and you can have anything you want in this business. So that's all I have, Nikki. I hope it was helpful.
Well, I am wondering, first of all, it was delightful. And I love the 6 tips. I took the notes on it. And I love the idea of you can either think small or think big. Because we have a lot of people that say the same thing. Oh, you've got a regional coming up in September. We're not going to go to Austin. We have to choose between the 2. Or we're not going to go to Leavenworth, which is something in our local area, a little in Seattle, because we're not going to go to Austin. But the way that you set it around, the next one will be even bigger. And it's not even that you may necessarily take more people, but as you become more familiar with what we do, from conference to conference, when you get to the next conference, you understand more, you see more, you feel more, because you're more expanded. So that expansion allows you to take in more at the next conference. And so it's bigger, right? So,
yeah.
So I'm just wondering, we've got a few more minutes. Does anybody just dying to ask Andrea a question? If you do, just unmute yourself, say your name, and ask, because we've got a few more minutes. And is that okay with you, Andrea?
Yeah, I probably have about 1 minute though, and I have to jump on to welcome my team call.
I haven't done that team call, so we've got 1 minute.
Know.
Something they just really need to hear from Andrea to help them out.
Sure. Anybody?
All right. Well, if you're not muted and if you're speaking and you're not muted, we can't hear you, or the other way around. You're muted and we can't hear you. All right. Well, then I just totally want to thank you for jumping on and doing this with us, Andrea. I love your style of presentation. You're just easy to listen to, easy to take notes from. And I'm hoping that we've got a lot of people that are going to tune in afterwards to hear what you had to say, because I think there's a lot of value in the fact that you went up and you went down, and it happens to all of us. And you went up in a big way and you went down in a big way.
Yeah.
And that happens. And you consistently went back up again. So great story. So thank you so much. Next week, we're going to have a great call. So everybody stay tuned. Andrea, thank you so much. And I'm going to would everybody unmute themselves and give a big thank you to
thank you. It was great.
Thank you, Andrea.
Thank you.
See you in a couple.